This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Kiran Deol. We're in our new studio. We're back, and so we're having our first return guest. She's here to try and get another dummy 2 years in a row. Why wouldn't you? It's a wonderful episode. Very excited to be back. Here we go, Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
I think since the last time I saw you, you got married. I had an assault. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
seems like the trajectory has been similar, but
I mean, you had, a happy moment in your life. I got plastic surgery and then listened to my doctor complain about the rest of my face. And he was like, well, here's what else is wrong with your face in terms of the golden triangle. And I was like, bro, I'm going to need you to stop right there. Okay. I'm a comedian. This is what it is. Like, he was like, but you see, here's what's like, you probably need to do. Have you ever noticed this about your chin? And I was like, no. And I don't want to know because I don't want to start noticing it. I'm sure you're correct that it's fucked up, but stop telling me that it's fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm clearly not over it. Wow. I did not expect to start this podcast in a burst of rage.
it's perfect. Thank you for being here, Kiran.
Everyone breathe.
I do. I just want to, this is actually perfect to kind of get into having you back. You're the first person that we've had on again, which is really exciting because you were nominated for a dummy last year for your episode last year.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. That was one of, I think it was a highlight. I do think it was a highlight of the year.
It was really, so, I mean, that's great. But like you were just saying, there was this big thing. You had this assault that happened in between then and now, and you have this show, Joy Suck, that's kind of like, it's not based around, but it's like part of the before and the after and that kind of thing. And you took it to Edinburgh and now you're touring again. And I mean, I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming talking about it, you're going to be in Seattle again, which is really exciting. So things have happened since the last time you were on, and you're here to, I don't know, maybe you could put yourself in the nomination bin again.
Wow. I mean, I wasn't expecting that kind of pressure out the gate, but yeah, nominated for a dummy was one of the highlights of the year. So thank you so much for that. I did forget until you said it, but I remembered as soon as you said it. So I think,
good.
Yeah, I think that means that it means a lot.
That's where we want to exist, I think, needing to be reminded, but then like, oh yeah, and nothing, that's still a good feeling, I would assume.
And it's still like all positive. You're like, oh, chic. Yeah, that was I loved that for me. The show was called Joy Suck when it was in Edinburgh, but that was because they make you choose the name like 6 months earlier before the show is done, which is hilarious. So that was like the old name of the old show, which is dumb. And now this one is going to be like the new branding, which I put out about 3 days ago. So can't believe you're not on it, Monica. Wow, do your research. Yeah, it's Assault on Comedy. I think it'll be called Assault on Comedy, or potentially Bad Victim, or potentially Villain Era. And the hour is about what happened. It's like I got smashed in the face with a bottle outside of a 7-Eleven, walking from a wine bar unprovoked by this guy that I did not know. And just kind of like I think my biggest issue with it, other than like the fractures and the surgeries and the trial and stuff, was that it was like, I just like don't really see myself as a victim. I see myself as more of a cunt. And this really was like, it really put a damper in that experience. So it's like, if you like, so the show is really about like, if you see yourself as bringing big villain energy to the, you're driving your Mini, you got your cunty bob, you're like doing all the things, you're like getting in shape with white women, doing yoga, whatever, you're doing the things. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along and takes away your agency. How do you toggle between the self-image of a villain and like the kind of realistic reality of the DA calling you and being like, victim 857, and you're like, I have a name and it's contest.
Well, I like, that's so like, I love that dichotomy of you, because I mean, you're right. Victim, is like, I think something used in a different way of like, oh, you're playing the victim or you're whatever, this case, obviously, literally you are a victim, but that the connection to that doesn't match up with the bad bitch, cunt,
image
vibe.
that you have. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But this idea that I don't think any of us have ever really wanted to be like, a victim. Like, I don't think that's ever been the narrative of what I've wanted to be, what most comics I know ever want to be. It's like, I'm just not interested in that kind of story and that kind of centering. So like, it really just like rained on my parade and like really made you kind of like focus in on like who you want to be. And then the craziest part, and this is what the show kind of goes into, is that so they had a preliminary hearing, and in order, like, because they caught the guy, right? And because they caught the guy, they had a preliminary hearing, and then the judge actually gives you a choice in the sentencing of what happens, because in violent crime they do that in the state of California because they're idiots. I don't know why they do that. That's a crazy fucking
Like, we'll
thing to
leave it up
do.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, what would you want to do? And I was like, this is the shittiest version of like The Price is Right ever. Like it's, and the choices were something like 6 years in prison or like 2 years probation and help with mental health, and the way my friend put it is it's like the question is, it's like, would you like, this person to go to prison forever, or what if he was your roommate? What's your preference? And it's like, bruh, like, so yeah, the show is about like transforming the experience and figuring out that choice. And to be clear, it's not the victim's statement. And again, I identify as contest. So like, to be clear, but like the victim's statement is not the only thing that makes the decision. The judge makes the decision, but it weighs in heavily. So like whatever you say can like really have an impact on what happens in this other person's life. And you're like, girl, I didn't ask for any of this. I was trying to just drive around in my Mini, buy a cape and look evil. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I was trying to do, living my goddamn best life. And yeah, so just calls into question like what are all of, like how do you navigate an experience like that? We live in kind of like a polarized world. Who do you want to be in a choice like that, etc.? And I kind of give the audience the same choice. I wish you could be there. I honestly wish you could see the show, because I think you would.
Ride.
It's a ride, and I feel like it's like, just you, even as like a comic and a storyteller, I would love for you to see this one. So obviously you were my first call, and you betrayed me by being busy. Because now you're married and happy and successful.
Des Moines, Iowa is what'll happen. I'm, performing myself, but
there's corn to fuck. Yeah.
I mean, that night I'll actually be in Omaha, there's so much corn, it turns out, but
which hopefully is going to go great. And I am not I'm not like bitter. I'm just sad.
You're not mad, you're just disappointed, kind of thing.
Yeah. He's like when a parent is like, listen, it's not that I don't like you. It's just that you've disappointed me. Yeah, well, I'm happy for you that you're touring and you're headlining and stuff. It's all great. But I just wish it lined up so that we could have a reunion. I was looking forward to coming back to Seattle. I was like, oh, the gang is getting back together. And the gang was like, no, the gang is touring. The gang is out here on these streets touring.
After we got to work with you last year, then we just like blew up. And so
I love that though.
Now we're headlining everywhere.
I love that. You guys are both, but you guys deserve it. You guys are both hilarious. It was you and Bo Johnson. And it is actually really, it's bad for this show, particularly for me, and it's my loss, but it is in general a very good thing. And I couldn't be more delighted to see two great people.
It does feel like I have these gaps in November and December, and I was like, oh, what, she should have been here during that time. But
it's devastating, right? It's like always the wrong.
You could have worked around my schedule better. That
I should have. Next time before I book it, I'm gonna be like, if Morgan reaches out, I'm gonna be like, hold the phone. We got to check in with Monica Nevi's schedule, and let's pick a weekend based on her availability. And if this bitch doesn't show up, then give me her address. I'm gonna stab her.
I really are you going to film this? Film the show?
It's like I literally am making open threats to you on a podcast that is being recorded. It's like, and I love the way the question, you're like, so are you going to film that also? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to tape it. on Sunday the 12th in Los Angeles.
Oh
So
wow, okay, that's coming
yeah,
up then.
yeah, doing it like so it's
Okay, so you're like getting
Seattle.
it ready in Seattle and then
Yeah, Seattle is dry run, and then did all of the Fringe. So like had a long time to like do it. I got to do a good run of them there. So I think it'll be kind of nice to come back and revisit it after kind of like taking a break for a second, so that it doesn't like. I think there's something good about when you do it back to back, but I also think there's something good. It can get kind of rote. Do you know what I mean? And something that's kind of nice when you can come back to me is that it's like you discover the fun of it again,
well,
if
yeah,
that
then you're
makes sense.
excited to do it when you're on stage. That's sometimes I get tired of it where I'm like, can we just film this so I can be done saying this, or whatever.
A
But
1000%. Yeah, I
yeah,
know exactly that feeling.
yeah,
Um,
I understand.
and this one is like it's this like I'm really proud of the way it's turned out, but it is, I don't want to be talking about I'm sorry, there's a fly that's trying to eat my smoothies, so we all have problems.
Vegan and
But
big. Sorry.
um, but this, but the yeah, this is not a show that I want to like. I want to get this out.
Talking
You know what I
about
mean?
forever. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
like you kind of this is the show you want to finish, you want to polish, you want to make it good. Maybe it's a starting point for a, like something that's broadcast, but it's like, yeah, let's get it done. Let's get it out. It's like Nimesh Patel and his like one ball special, but more serious. It's definitely like a worse situation than he just has one ball and he's married and
yeah.
it only took 4 days. But I also, not to minimize your struggle, Nimesh. I don't know why I went on that. We should probably cut all of that from this podcast.
If you want. Or we can just bleep his name and then they'll be like, who has doing research? Who has
Who
one ball?
has one ball? Who has one ball?
Oh gosh. Okay, so exciting. I'm very excited for you, and I'm sad I'm not going to be there to see it in Seattle, but I am excited to be able to see it um at some point. If that you're filming it. So good, good. But that's all.
Super,
What
super.
we're about
And
the
for the
podcast.
Seattle people,
Feel
Seattle people, it's 7
Mhm.
hereafter. Crocodile,
Yeah.
um, 7 p.m. on Saturday, and the Chai Ho Bistro, which is just down the street. If
Mhm.
you show your ticket, um, between 4 and 11 p.m., they will give you 15% off your entire bill.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
so there's like a nice little tie in there from the Chai Ho Bistro. So just show your ticket and show that you're going to the show, and you're going to the show, and then like
Like a little
you'll
date
get
night there.
like a little date night, and then you'll get
Some
like
food, then you
I
get a
think
good
it's 50,
show.
exactly 15% off your entire bill. And if you go for happy hour, they still give you 15% off your entire bill, which I believe is from 4 to 7.
That's perfect timing. There you go.
I know, pretty good, pretty good. A little discount. We love a discount, Monica. Oh my
Discount.
god.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. Buy your tickets now. Okay. All right. Well, then let's get into it. Let's get I mean, real strong performance last year with we'll just recap real quick. The idea that you were nominated for the Demi for was to change the emoji we use for the penis, change it from the eggplant to something else. So they were big fans of that. So no pressure coming back.
To be clear, I got nominated, but I didn't win.
I think I don't know. I have to look. You didn't remember being nominated. I don't remember if you won or not, but
Well, yeah,
it's real organized and technical here at Dumb
that
Pitches.
was a genuinely good idea, though. I think we were both also riffing on what it could
Well,
have.
yeah, we were like into it too. That I mean, and maybe that helps, as a listener, they may have felt similarly.
Because they're like it's a dumb idea, but it's also true. Like, why are we texting this eggplant over to everyone? And it feels ambitious. It's not the
Well,
truth.
right.
It's
Yes.
what are we dealing with people, or are these people out here fucking horses? What is happening? It's just upsetting, you know.
I mean, maybe. Okay. I can't.
I have one dumb idea. I don't know if it's good or
Okay.
bad. And I don't know. Are you also sharing dumb ideas?
I'm here to help,
You're here to help. Okay,
Yeah.
you're a solid assist.
Yeah.
So I have trouble waking up in the morning because I'm on the fence about living. And
That's-
and so as a result of this, I was thinking this morning as we were like, and by morning, I mean late morning, early afternoon. What do I mean? Do you know what I mean? I was like, man, it'd be really good if you could have something sleep for you and then be injected with the rejuvenation. Do you know? Like, so in like if like a robot AI could do the sleeping, but then it could be transferred to you, like a dummy like situation does the sleeping, but then the brain clearage and everything you get from that time is transferred to you. Kind of like when you're in Vegas and like they have those like oxygen,
The oxygen bar thing.
the oxygen bar.
Yeah.
And it's like you do this for 15 minutes and it'll be kind of like simulate being awake or whatever, you know? The equivalent of that, or like the way that the rich people they like get the blood transfusions from like the young people so that they stay young, and then Elon Musk looks less like a gremlin or whatever. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about? You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about. I watched
Yeah.
Silicon Valley once. And or like there's just all of these little hacks and tricks, but I was like, what if you could cut out sleeping altogether and just turn it into a 15 to 20-minute activity where you get like a magnet on your head and it's like the sleep of the robot or the sleep of the dummy human is downloaded into your brain, in an us like, or post-apocalyptic future AI robot situation.
Okay. Because you want to be awake more,
I
or you
don't
just
want to
want to
have to.
feel not
I
tired.
I want to feel I want to feel the rest of a good night's sleep, but never have to wake up again.
Okay. So it's specifically the waking up part is the
And what am I
catalyst for this
and
idea.
and it's this also this idea of like a third of your life is spent sleeping. Do you know
Right.
what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like,
Yeah.
which like feels like a lot. It feels like a lot to
Absolutely.
just like it's just like your brain is doing like maintenance. Your brain is just like clearing out the rubbish and the scruff. I do feel like, they're always talking about outsourcing the stuff that like you don't have to do. And I feel like if you could outsource sleep, that's the real trick.
You're right, is that it's supposedly that's what you're doing, majority of your time, I think, is what it would end up being. A third of your life is probably more than you're doing anything else. And and then you're like being told you don't do it enough, or you don't do it right, or or you still do, you do whatever's recommended and then it still doesn't feel good enough or whatever. So it needs to be some sort of assistance. Do you do like sleeping pills at all, or like a CBD or anything to like help you sleep?
No, no, I
Okay.
don't. Sometimes I eat these gummy bears that my friend gave me for free, but I finished those last night. I think they had ashwagandha in them, but no, generally, no, I'm not the melatonin or the
Yeah.
CBD or,
None
you
of
know,
that makes me feel better the next day. Like sometimes it'll help me fall asleep, but it's not like, oh, that was really good sleep or something, which, is like always what they're saying is it's supposed to do. You'll feel so rejuvenated, but it never works for me. Because
no,
so as you're saying this, I'm like, okay, obviously there's whatever, caffeine or Adderall, or, then the other way would be, you take sleeping pills and then you feel better, you're getting better sleep. But I don't think any of those things actually make you feel that rested properly the way that I think you're talking about.
that's exactly right, Monica. And a really good point. It's like you really want, like my friend once described taking an Adderall or taking anything that's going to, even a caffeine. He says you're borrowing time from the future.
Wow.
It's
Is
very
that all he
profound.
was on?
That man lives in a cave underground.
Okay.
He
You're
is
borrowing
insane.
time from the
Yeah.
future. I mean, yeah, I
But
get that because it's gonna affect you
later.
later.
So it's like, let's say
Right.
that you're staying up for 32 hours to do your finish your thing, or you're studying and you're cramming for your exam, or I don't know how the people of Seattle live. They're programming some fucking thing in the all
Yeah,
night
yeah,
bullshit for
yeah.
Facebook, whatever. You will crash out. And whether that's a day later, 2 days later, or 3 days later, you're going to lose that time in some either in a quality perspective or whatever in the future. And I'm talking about none of that happens. I'm just
Right.
saying you at your freshest all the time.
Yeah. Or if
Never
you're
a
not feeling
groggy
that way, then you
morning.
just take a 15 minutes or whatever. It's not,
Take a
8
15, take a hot
hours.
15, 100%. You take that hot 15. I don't know why it seems like it should be here. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's
It
something
would be
less
like a
intrusive, like
connecting.
a Yeah, like a patch or like a, like a CPAP. Maybe it should be a little bit shameful, whatever the device
Yeah,
is.
people will know that this is what you're needing to do, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Like so
Or it
that
makes a
like
weird noise or something. Like CPAP
ex
machines make that like Darth Vader type of sound. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Something that's like a little bit shitty because you're getting such a good value for it.
Yeah.
So it's like
And I would assume it's, at least at first going to be expensive. It would be a high end type of thing to do. Yeah.
it's like the blood transfusions from young people so that you can stay looking young and not like a gremlin. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's expensive.
Yeah. I feel like maybe an underground situation, or, it's like only because that's the thing. I think those blood transfusion, that type of stuff, those are secrets that the rich and the famous, beautiful people have for a long time. They don't want anyone else to know. And then eventually you're like, oh, you can just like do this.
This is a sidebar, but when people are rich and famous and they're still ugly, do you find yourself thinking, wow, that's their best?
Yeah.
Like with a team of people who it's their job to make you look amazing. And that's the very best it'll ever be.
Yeah.
Blows my
Well,
mind.
I think and probably because I'm selfish, but I think
Pretty?
what
Yeah, I
what
agree.
would I do? Like how would I utilize the team that they had? What else? If this is what they're looking like, I could probably look way better than that.
And that's true. And then sleep for me. I think it could be maybe the program would be called Sleep for Me.
Sleep for me. Okay, yeah. Sleep
Sleep
you.
for me. Sleep for me. And then on the flip side, let's say that you love sleeping. Let's say that you have depression or seasonal affected depression. Let's say that you're a killer at sleeping because the people with anxiety they're very bad at sleeping. I had an
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend who'd be like, don't move, like me, I'll wake up. Blah. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, girl, like I don't know what to tell you. Like sometimes I'm gonna fart, and if it wakes you up, like I don't know what, like I turned over, now you're awake. Like what can we do? Very
Yeah.
like light sleeper, very difficult. Somebody like that. And then there's people like Eeyore, the seminal character from Winnie the Pooh.
Crashing dog.
Yeah, he's a sad donkey, and one would imagine that when he's not going on adventures with Pooh, after being harassed into going on these adventures, he's probably spending about 20 hours of his day sleeping.
Sleeping, yeah.
Somebody like that could use the Sleep for Me program to fund their lifestyle, to make some money, get a nicer bed, and take their, you know, their whatever thing they're supposed to fix and just turn it into an income stream. And that is the gig economy.
That yes, absolutely. And I think people would be interested in that. I suppose it's kind of a remote job too, just sleep and then get uploaded or whatever happens. It's a work from home situation. This is gonna be really
Work from bed
there you
situation.
go.
It's not just home, it's work from mattress situation. You know, you can do this from camping, and then but it takes a certain amount of time to upload the sleep to the cloud, and then sometimes it's like, oh god, it's glitchy. Do you know what I mean? You got to stay awake to upload it. Oh god.
So once you upload, is that like, then do you feel tired again as the sleeper? Like you've given them your rejuvenation, you know what I mean? Like, does it empty you out, or is it like I still feel okay?
That's a great question, Monica. The first thing I'd like to say is I am not a scientist. So I
probably should have clarified that from the top.
I don't really understand the math of how this works, but I would imagine that the way that energy works in general is I give it to you and then I don't have it anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Which this is going to be maybe too sad, but sometimes when you're
Go for it, bring it.
When you're really depressed, and I'm a depression sleeper. Okay. So I'm normally not a very good sleeper when I'm depressed. Instead of like just in the middle of the day, I'll be like, I'm just gonna sleep. I'm just gonna take a nap. Then I'll wake up and I'll be awake and I'll be like, I don't want to I would like to still be tired enough to sleep, but you can't, So then if this is a thing, if I'm transferring it to you and then I'm like, oh, I can sleep again. This is great. I just
absolutely. And think about, so let's say you have something like a seasonal affective disorder or whatever, SAD it's called, which is quite frankly a stupid acronym. It's hilarious. Like scientists were trolling people when they named that. That's very funny and bad. So if you have this seasonal affective disorder, yes, it's like now you can take that And to somebody, let's say in a tropical locale where they want to be awake because they're trying to snorkel, they're trying to like live their best life on a vacation, let's say,
There
like they
you
want to make
go.
the most out of every minute that they have in Paris, or they're in Vegas and they want to make the most out of it because this is fun time for them. They don't want to avoid this piece. Give them your sleep. You'll sleep through the winter. You wake up in a spring, you're awake. And now once you're awake, you have some money in your bank account. And that's capitalism.
See, that's beautiful because I used to have friends that worked on fishing boats in the summer, like in Alaska, and they
Wow.
were like they made a lot of money because it's like super dangerous, but they would go up there and work for the summer and then they'd have enough money for the rest of the year. So you could just use your depression. This is really evolved. Use your depression during the winter months like a bear, hibernate, you're helping other people too at the same time. And then when the sun's more present, so can you.
The Sleep for Me program is the Alaska fishing boat of depression. That is
Yeah,
correct.
that's what a slogan there. That's pretty
in
good.
in a in a in a in a nutshell. And maybe you won't even feel as bad about your depression if A, you can monetize it, and B,
Absolutely.
if you know you're helping other people. Then it's like, am I sad or am I doing a service? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's I think it could be. I think maybe the reason I won a dummy has less, or I didn't win, I got nominated, but it's an honor, whatever they say when you get nominated. I think it
Yeah.
has less to do with the idea being great and then more to do with the fact that we can grow the idea together into
Yes.
something
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. And
really
because I really would
robust.
be interested to see some of the comments about this and how, would you be interested in being a surrogate sleeper or whatever? And or would you, because it depends on it depends on your
Surrogate
surrogate
sleeper. Do
sleeper.
you want to carry my tired?
Yeah, exactly. Um, and would you benefit? Because you're right, there is an anxious personality type that really struggles to sleep. And so so my anxiety is really affected by my sleep. If I don't actually feel rested, then it's worse. It's more on edge. So if you aren't very good at sleeping, somebody else does it for you, the anxiety actually is helped as well. It's really, firing all cylinders here, but I'm interested to see what some of the comments are.
And it's a nice way, I think. So if you're on vacation and you want to make the most out of the time, fantastic, great. But let's say that you're in a high period in work, or like, and it's a very stressful time and you really need to be awake, but you don't want to be. Now you have this alternative where you can just tap out and make money sleeping. Get the fuck out
Yeah,
of here.
there
Do you
you
know what I mean?
go.
It's giving you options so that you
That's a
don't feel
great
tethered to the grindstone.
talk
Sleep for
about a
me.
side hustle. I mean, yeah, that's great.
And it's a side hustle that we all have to do anyway. So you don't even feel bad about, like, it's not like going to the gym where it's like, I got to drive there. I got to, like, put my
Right.
weird
It's right
elastic
there.
pants on. I don't know why there are outfits for the gym. That's stupid. But like the elastic pants, you put those on, you go to the gym, you sweat. Now you got to have a shower. You got to come back. This is 2 to 3 hours. That feels, I know it's good for your body. And technically humans were built to move, but it also just feels like a waste in our ever increasing digital world. And I know that's a bad attitude to have about it because you need it for your brain. But like I said, I'm not a doctor. Okay. I'm just some bitch with opinions on your podcast. So, like, I
You
think
did
it's
great at
dumb.
that part. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think it's dumb. But sleeping is something, like, you can go a day without exercising and like you'll be relatively fine. You can go a month without exercising. You might not feel great, but like you'll
But
be
you'll be
fine.
okay. Yeah,
Can't go a month without sleeping. It's not happening for you. So
definitely not.
there's no guilt involved. And I love that piece of it too. It's so fundamental to all of our experiences. And especially, let's say you're a bad person. Let's say you are an Elon Musk. Let's say you are a Mark Zuckerberg. Hey girl, I see you. You look terrible on the water when you have sunscreen on your nose. You look like a true evil villain. It's really weird that you would even let images of yourself like that be on the internet. You own the internet. Sidebar. Yeah, I those people who might have, like, let's say, a lot of guilt for all the people that they've hurt or been bad to, Hollywood agents, let's say, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like any people who are carrying a lot of, let's say, heads of companies, like the head of Chevron, when they know like an oil
CEO
spill is
type
going
of
to
people.
happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. People who like personally go and club baby seals, and they do it to make money. maybe some of those people have some guilt when they're going to sleep. It makes it hard to sleep. They
Got
can't
it.
lay that phrase, I can't lay my head
Right.
on my
How do you
pillow at
sleep
night.
at night? Yeah.
Well, these people, they don't have to now.
They don't. I don't. Somebody
They
else
don't
does it
have
for
to. Sleep for me. I don't have to feel that guilt.
me.
Sleep for
How do
me.
you sleep at night? I don't. I outsource that as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
outsource that.
I think that's a good market to start with. That's great. I really think we're onto something here. Wow. Just, two home runs, I'd say you've had already. That's pretty great.
The trouble on this one is, I mean, I feel like the emoji shift was more of a culture shift. Like
Yeah.
that's something that's achievable.
You just
This
get
one,
people behind it. Yeah. This
yeah,
one, there's
this
maybe
one is
more
like this
technical
one.
work.
Yeah, this one has like a science behind it. What was
Yeah.
that woman with the one drop thing with the deep voice
Oh
that
yeah. Elizabeth
developed?
Holmes.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get her on this.
Yeah, we could just start marketing it now without having figured out how it works. That's fine. I think it seems like other people are doing that. So
And we both have relatively deep voices,
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
so I think I don't know if they would believe us, but I think maybe if we talk more like this, they would believe us.
Yeah, they might listen to us at least. And then it's
Yeah,
like their voices are deep enough. I believe them,
exactly. You get Series A funding, then you get Series B funding. I'm not sure if it's then Series 3 funding. I don't really know a lot about how the funding works in Seattle. I know about as much about the series funding as I do about the fishermen, but your culture is amazing to me and I
It's so
appreciate it.
interesting.
This culture of tivas and fish and tech giants
Hex, yeah,
and coffee, overpriced coffee that begins in your sweet city of rain and
well, we're so excited for you to be here because, you're just talking so sweetly about it. Why don't you give one more time, give everyone where you're going to be and maybe where they can follow you and stuff so they can come and see you live or whatever. Or whatever, or keep up with the Sleep For Me program.
And to keep up with the Sleep For Me program,
Yeah.
I would recommend following on Shit from Kiran on all platforms. That's on the internet. That's shit, like the stuff that comes out of your butthole, from Kiran. I know that transitions can be hard. From Kiran, 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 like the beer. All the information is there. It's in my link tree, but I will be in Seattle this Saturday, November 4th, 11/4, this Saturday, November 4th at 7 p.m. at the Hereafter, which is a beautiful little theater in the Crocodile, which is right in the heart of Belltown. And right by Belltown, right before you go to Belltown, you can go to the Chaiho Bistro and you can eat a lovely meal during happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. Show your ticket and get a 15% discount. My God, Monica, I am getting good at advertising.
What
God
a deal.
damn. Wow.
It's going to be super helpful when we start this Sleep For Me program. Your advertising voice is great.
Can't you just see me on one of those like late night infomercials, the way that like Suzanne Summers used to do with the Thigh Master, but it's just like me in bed and I just like, hello.
Rested, yeah.
Am I sleeping or am I dreaming? Oh my gosh, Antonio. I'm so sorry. Antonio's here to fix the window pane because he's right on time.
Perfect. Well, and my next guest is here as well, so this is good timing. This was wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Follow Kiran.
Hold on just a second.
Kiran, follow us, subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. We love you. Okay, goodbye.
We love you. We love you. Hold on. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
You're weird.
Yes.